Excuse me, ma. This your 100% in here.
Babes, are you sure you want to spend this much on hair? Didn't your landlord just increase rent? I saved for this one separately on money points.
Ma, you say you save on money points?
Yes.
This madam money points here. The array of your dread here is target savings money points I used to have it. The rest of this my sub is this savings money points I used to do it. The salary of this my staff is save as you transact.
Jennifer, money point save as you transact. Money point fixed savings and money point target savings.
What's up? Why did I tell her to contribute to you? Why she say? Come on, oh, you go give your money to Hadaku to save. You see money point account there. You don't go open a savings account. Now Hadaku you shoot. I beg everybody inside this my salon. Oh, yeah, bring out your phone and download the money point app now. Even you. What are you waiting for? Download the money point app now. Hadaku, wow, open money point account.
Money point made for your progress.
All right, welcome back. It's still AM120 on the Broadcasting Corporation of your state. We're now in our interview segment, and this morning we'll be looking at, of course, alleged assault on nurses, matters arising. And particularly, we're going to be looking at the case of a nurse recently assaulted, and the video has been going viral on social media at Adeoyo Hospital. And to do justice to the conversation this morning, we have with us in the studio, we have Elder Ademola Adebola. He's a public affairs analyst and elder statesman. You're welcome to the program, sir.
Thank you. Good morning.
It's good to have you on the program.
It's a pleasure.
Let's look at assault on professionals first. How do you see this attitude? For whatever reason, do you assault a professional on his or duty post?
It's unlawful and illegal. Everybody's interest of freedom is protected under the laws of the Federation. For no reason, for no justifiable reason, should anybody be assaulted. And by now, I've thought police should have gone to the case, charge those involved. Be a very good example for others. Individual human rights should be protected. Where your own right stops, that's where the others start. So we should learn to be tolerant, self-respecting, and obey the rules of the law. It's as simple as that.
Okay, the recent incident that happened at Adeoyo that went viral, you would agree with me that this particular incident is not just something that we're seeing coming up in your state. Even in Lagos, there have been cases of attack, assault on health workers. I mean, why should someone assault a health worker?
There may be many other reasons, but Nigerians are getting intolerant and very rational now. We believe absolutely in violence, and violence does not solve any problem, but it creates more problem. So we need some patience and have a means of relaying our grievances to any authority concerned. Fighting a worker or fighting for your own rights might be a wrong way to solving the problem.
Okay, let's quickly look at this particular story. Nurses Forum demands arrest of patients' relatives seen assaulting chief nursing officer at Oyo Hospital, threatens industrial strike. According to the forum, the nurses on duty had already attended to the patient within the scope of their responsibilities and were waiting for the doctor on call to continue consultation when the incident occurred. The Elegant Nurse Forum has condemned the alleged assault of a chief nursing officer at the state hospital, Adeoyo, Ibadan, Oyo State, calling for immediate arrest and prosecution of the patient's relative accused of attacking the nurse. Still on that story, while will we continue on the story, let's look at the role of a nurse, the hospital setting, and the role a nurse should play when a patient gets there.
Well, it's unfortunate that despite our early education, we are still very ignorant. The way people go about flexing muscle, it's very wrong. And because they go away with it, they feel it's the right way to doing things. The circumstances leading to the assault of the nurse, nurses have a role to play, and that is they take care of a patient. He that is sick needs physician. Anybody that goes to the hospital is under very severe pressure, in a critical situation. He who wears the shoe knows where it pains. Because if you see a patient in the hospital, you have to be very kind, very receptive, and sympathetic. You should not be behaving as if they have come to seek for favor. For any job done by any worker, is being duly paid. I will not support them going on strike. It's a case that is very prevalent in our society, and the system allows for it. Let me start. Do they have security men protecting their interests? I will say yes. But if you see the quality of the security men, can they prevent assault to the workers? Can they secure the properties under their care? So the most important thing is that there's a management failure somewhere, which maybe we shall get to it. Workers' interests should be protected. And nurses have a duty. They have to be very, very patient. Sickness can be very painful, and they believe it's only the doctor that they can explain to, if not to God. So if anybody goes to the hospital, he has gone for a solution that he believes it's only doctor that can provide it. So I'll be appealing to our people. They should not be at the point of death before going to hospital. Should be going for medical checkup, at least at the initial stage, not at the point of death, and then you will be transferred to aggression.
Okay, as I know this thing, I want us to go back to memory lane. In yesteryears, what was our hospitals like? Because I'm still coming to a part of this conversation where the National Association of Nigerian Nurses and Midwives also spoke about these systems, and they blamed this incident on shortage of staff, which you have stylishly mentioned. Now, let's go back to memory lane. When you were going, what was our hospital like?
Hospital used to be a very decent and disciplined environment. If you want to see a doctor, you have to go early and be on queue. And on queue, yes. Surely you'll be treated. If there's any case of emergency, there used to be a standby doctor for emergency. And it's only nurses that can determine what is an emergency and regular treatment. Nowadays, it's too expensive for an average Nigerian to go to private doctors. Now, when they go to these government-financed hospitals, the treatment method out to the public is not good enough. I can ascertain that. And to every indiscipline, there's corruption underneath. Nurses cannot overstretch themselves because they know what is happening around them. Somebody cannot be selling drugs, be selling biscuits, be selling injection, and you as a nurse, you'll be working for that other fellow to survive. It's an extra means of livelihood, which I know is not official. And nurses now see themselves as thank God because they are now in the international market. They are being sought for everywhere, all over the world. But that does not justify why they should not be doing their job efficiently. I believe if the pressure is too much, there are two options. If you don't have another job, you can go on retirement. If you have another job, you can resign and go and do that job. But everywhere, people complain shortage of staff. It used to be no salary. The salary is not regular. They are not talking of shortage of staff.
Okay, let's look at yesteryears in the 1960s when you were quite young. You are still young, like you said earlier. I agree. Yes, I'm not disputing that. Yes, but let's look at that time. Did we have private hospitals?
Very few.
Very few.
Very few. And then in the private hospitals, you don't find government doctor working in private hospitals.
Really?
Yes. They encourage them to establish private hospital so that they can enhance health services to the general public, but it's a money-making venture. How can you be working for government and at the same time have a private hospital? It's divided interest. But government has been very tolerant and very submissive to the demands of Nigerian Medical Association by allowing them to have private hospitals. If you want to have private hospital, you better resign so that it can be one way. It's, you are serving government and you are serving yourself. One side will suffer. And that's why we are where we are now today. And I have never seen where doctors resume by 10 o'clock because everybody, all civil servants operate the same GO, government regulation. And they have seen themselves as an extraordinary human being, which is very true. But their services to the public or to the government is not, to my assessment, is not good enough. In those days, there used to be ward round. When a doctor resumed duty, you go around to see.
And that's at 7 o'clock when I was growing up.
Oh, yeah. But he will resume by 10. Can he do the job? If he does, then it means by 11 o'clock, he will now come to his table for consultation. And a sick patient, can he be so bearing, can be so tolerant to wait for almost 4 hours expecting a doctor? In fact, there are no doctors 24 hours as it used to be in those days.
Really?
Yes.
That's kudos to Jackpot syndrome.
Well, yes, but we are producing doctors. If they have ways and means of retaining them in this country, why not retain them? All our manpower is they train them with our money and they don't serve us.
Well, we're being told that the reason why many of them don't stay is because the welfare is poor.
It's general. It's not only doctors. If everybody has opportunity, they will go overseas to go and hard currency. But for humanitarian reason, it's better to stay at home. You make reasonable money, you invest, you see what is happening around you. You don't go to an enclave. Because I sympathize with people that go and sort for money. They go to mini detention. It's not easy. You don't interact. You don't find time for leisure. You have no relative. You really go to worship. So what's the essence? If I wait, with my little experience, it's better to stay at home.
So are you saying that staying in Nigeria is much more better? Give us good reasons why you feel that those embarking on, greener pastures is just a waste of time. Can you do an assessment?
Yes, money does not solve all problems. Money at times creates problems. But people don't look that side. They make millions, that's true. But you come home to come and invest. Last 5 years, I don't know how much cement is. But now, cement is about 13,000. So if you make money 5 years ago, you are rich. Now, if you make money now, you are poorer. So why don't you stay at home? And if you hear their salary, it's fabulous. I can say I'm not.
I mean, some people earn $1,000 per week.
Yes, they could do, but what do you do with the money? You pay house rent, you pay for transport, you pay for heating, you pay for
eating?
For heating. You need to heat your yes, to make your house warm.
Warm.
And you pay whatever, all the taxes. You can't evade it. It's a great offense, even mostly in Britain, to evade tax. Well, it's get time, which is very unusual. How much do they pay as tax in this country? But whatever, the respect they earn here, an average European can give them. We are all the same. You are Mister. Whatever. But here we accord them respect. We give them preferences, and they earn more money. I don't know what else. Because people say, what else do you want?
Some young people will say it was in those days you would be on your way looking for money and then you come across honor and then you just feel so, satisfied and you just go back home. It was in those days. It doesn't work like that anymore. Many young people, though, they don't see it the way anymore.
Yeah, because of their interest for all these social things. You want to ride the best of cars. Why should you?
When you were growing up, you didn't wish to ride the best of cars.
We can't. We just want to ride something on 4 wheels. And even though if you do ride a big car, your head of department can query you.
Really?
To find your source of income. It means you are perpetuating some bribery in where you work.
So
And
what if I'm from a wealthy family?
well, you better go and be a businessman in your home,
Really?
not at government work. You can even not buy a bicycle without taking loan. If you do, you have to establish your means of livelihood.
So how come civil service has changed from what you are talking about now? It has changed because, I mean, now you see even the smallest civil servants riding the best of cars.
Yes.
Why? How did we get there?
It's indiscipline, lawlessness, lack of respect for rules and regulation. We are very lawless. People don't bother. Everything is based, they say, envy. It's not envy. Do you follow the rules? In fact, dressing code is in civil service. You should be properly dressed. You cannot go to work with transparent shirt or skirt or half dress, blouse.
In those days?
In those days. You'll be queried. Your boss will query you. Nowadays, it's not even an offense to go late to work because the big man is not yet in office. It will come 2 hours later. So it's indiscipline. We are not disciplined, or we are not prepared to follow civil service rules and regulation. Because if you do, you'll be tagged as being wicked. And if there's no law, there will be lawlessness. So that's the situation, and it's getting worse. I said something is wrong.
Okay, let's look at this. The National Association of Nigerian Nurses and Midwives, or your state council, has condemned the assault on a nurse on duty at Adeoyo Maternity Teaching Hospital, Yemetu, Ibadan, describing the incident as unacceptable and a direct attack on healthcare professionals. In a statement jointly signed by the Secretary, Comrade Aino Emmanuel Oluwasegun, and the State Chairman, Comrade Adeleke Olugbade Victor, the association said the nurse was allegedly attacked by an unidentified individual who became angry over the absence of doctor on call at the time of the incident. And ANNAM expressed concern over the increasing insecurity we are faced by healthcare workers, stressing that no medical professional should be subjected to violence while carrying out their lawful duties. The association noted that the incident underscored the persistent manpower shortage in Oyo State health sector, particularly the inadequate number of nurses and midwives across government-owned healthcare facilities. According to the union, the shortage has resulted in increased workload, longer waiting time for patients, and immense pressure on few available healthcare personnel. The association disclosed that it had repeatedly written to the Oyo State government, the Ministry of Health, and Oyo State Hospital Management Board, urging immediate recruitment of more nurses and midwives to bridge the critical manpower gap. It also called for improved security in public hospitals to protect healthcare workers and patients.
Well, I disagree that the man is unidentified. Before you can get to an hospital, you must have gotten a card where you write your name, maybe telephone number, so the man can be identified. 2, the problem with labor unions is that they always wait for problem before they find solution. How many occasions have they gone to hospital to see the welfare of their workers?
No, they've said they write. They wrote to the state government, to the Ministry of Health, to the Oyo State Hospital Management Board. So they have reached out.
That's what they will say. But have they threatened to go on strike for not getting reply?
Now they're doing that.
They are not doing. What's the relationship with the head of the hospital? What they call them?
CMD, Chief Medical.
No, they don't. Yeah, that's being used at UCH.
Okay, teaching hospital.
Yes. What's his relationship or his relationship with the DPO? Not quite 2 kilometers from Adeoyo Hospital. Does he have the number of the DPO for security reasons? All those things are important things, but people think they are tribal. If you are in an environment, you should establish yourself. You should have consultation and relationship, even with mangajis around the hospital. That if you have problem, give them a call. They can send 2-4 people to come and protect them. The police DPO can send 2 or 4 of his staff to come and protect any staff in the hospital from a call from the head of the department. But all these things they think is not important. Now they are exposed to danger. And they are, is it the labor leader that will come and work for them or come and provide them security for them? All these things are very basic. And except you learn to do the things the right way, you shall always continue to get the wrong answer.
Okay, one of the challenges I saw in that conversation was the fact that while the nurse was beating up the family of that patient, beating up the nurse, they were also making a video.
Well, it is the mood in town now. Even when there's a motor accident, instead of going for the rescue of victims, the next thing is that everybody brings out the phone to be recording. We have to control this as social media malady. That's the way I see it. In fact, they ought not to have gone escape-free, unarrested. I've never seen. It means anybody can knock anybody's door, cut away properties, and people in the area will not even come to help. If you can't help yourself, government is available to help you. But heaven helps those who help themselves. Nobody's an island. Like I earlier said, they've constituted themselves to a different human being. Their level, they see themselves too superior, and they cannot bow to conquer. They can't even stoop. They don't see any professional as being better than them. Whereas we are all equal. Even taxi driver can be more important than a doctor, because somebody is sick and there's no Uber to take the patient to the hospital. The next thing is death. So what is the doctor doing in the hospital? So even electricity, people talk less of water. Now we are talking of security. If the people are aware that there's somebody that can caution them, that can arrest them and take them to book, they wouldn't have done this. And it's normal. Very, very normal. In fact, I don't know why you have to be lawless in a situation of insanity. You should pocket. When you leave your home, you should know you are in government's hands. Even when you are at home and you are playing sand, disturbing your neighbor, they have a right to caution you. How can you go to hospital and be beaten? Do you know the health situation of even the doctor? Is he also well? So is the nurse also well? So I don't think it's very awful. It should be discouraged. And if they have any means of protecting their own interests, they should do it.
Now let's look at the doctor who was supposed to be on call and was not there. Let's look at that critically. You had mentioned earlier that some doctors who are government workers also have the private hospitals. And we have also seen cases where doctors are alleged of taking some of the patients that should be treated in government hospitals to their private hospitals to be treated. Now let's look at the role of doctors in government hospitals. Let's see, what role are they playing? What role should they play? It seems like they're doing, some of them, let me put it that way because I would not like to generalize. It seems some of them are doing a disservice to government and the people. Because at every point, when I was growing up, I knew that every hospital would have a doctor at a time. You're on call. And when you're not there, someone else is there. You hand over before you leave. My mother happens to be a nurse. So I understand that she can't even leave the hospital even if she has closed without handing over to somebody who is next on duty. If the person is not there, she can't leave. You can't leave the hospital empty, let alone a doctor who's supposed to attend to patients. So would we say that because of the lack of manpower, maybe the doctor was attending to other patients in another ward or something? I mean, because it's also the doctor who will go do his round that would also attend to patients in the OPD.
Yes, there's the service and this no dedication to service. It's very general now. People are not dedicated to the job they are being paid for. And mostly health sector is suffering greatly. It's a management problem. There is a cadre in every hospital. But unfortunately the unfortunate thing is that it is the administrative staff that heads our hospital, our state hospital, which is abnormal. Like UCH, they have CMD, who is a medical doctor. You can't have an executive officer heading a professional institution. It's absurd. That's one part of their problem. I can never imagine that executive officer issuing a query to a medical doctor. The medical doctor is on level 14 and the admin man is on level 10. By position is superior, but by rank, the doctor is higher. So you can't query your boss. Two, are they supervised? They are on their own. Whether I work, I don't work, my salary will be paid. But their case is more sensitive. Medical line is too sensitive. In fact, if any of them have a means of taking all the patients to their private hospitals, could have been a bonus to them. But people, because of their lean pulse, they prefer to go to government hospitals. They are very efficient, they are very experienced doctors within them, even very good ones. That when they see you, they can read your mind, study your case, and prescribe for you the drugs you will buy. They will not tell you to go and do all the tests in the old world. You say you have headache, they say go and do X-ray, go and do stomach inspection, go and do blood tests. So, but they have interest in all these laboratories. All this we see. Who is going to caution them? Is it the admin man that does not know anything that's going to caution them? Can you report them to the health management board? So they are not supervised. They are on free zone. They are on their free will. They do whatever they like and they go away with it. In fact, if you write a petition against a doctor, I don't know how many years it will take your petition to be heard. At worst, they will call you for a settlement or an appeal. They will not be disciplined because they are sacred cow. Doctors are sacred cow. And let me tell you, even with Adio Hospital you are talking about, do you know that people pay for circumcision before delivery?
Hello, sir.
Circumcision. A pregnant woman pays in advance for circumcision.
Okay, so what if the baby is not a boy?
Yes.
Do you get your money back?
No, it's not refundable. It's absolutely corruption. Do you see people who have with kiosks selling confectionaries? Does the money go to the government? Don't you see where people are selling drugs in an institution of government institution? Is the government getting the profits? What's the problem? What is the involvement of an hospital in business? Your business is enough to cope with. You are getting yourself involved in so many other things. And people, no, there's no stupid idiot in Indari anymore. People see it and they too want to cut out of the cake. If it's corruption that will make me survive, then I should participate because nobody's going to caution me. They are degenerating. And if government is not prepared to face, if you want to work, work. If you don't want to work, travel to overseas with 15 million. You make your money. But at least we have peace. So our morals has degenerated almost to less than 10%. People have no morals. They have no etiquette and professional ethics.
Elder, let's also look at how nurses treat patients. The way they address patients, the way they... Because sometimes some of these things could make you also go out of your place to react. I recall 2 days ago, I was at a government secondary school, and I'd sent someone there. Unfortunately, the school turned back the person, and I was now directed to go there myself. And I got there, and the kind of attitude I got from those teachers, trust me, even the principal herself, turned me off.
Yes, it's not...
The attitude you get from some of these workers, and then they complain over many things. I'm not saying that anybody should be beaten, but the kind of attitude, the way they address people without respect, without honor, without dignity.
They cannot descend from the ladder they climbed. That's how they were trained.
Really?
Oh, yes. Because it's inheritance. Before you become a principal of a school, you must have worked for nothing less than 15 years. And you must have seen your seniors maybe do the same thing and escape with it. If one or two have been made a scapegoat, they could have learned to be very decent. They are not trained at all. That's the way I see it. Because during vacation, are they called for human relation to be trained on human relations. You need to know how to interact with people, how to talk to people. These are the people paying taxes to earn your salary. Then you maltreat them. There's nothing in school that prevents a principal from being decent. He is expected to be training people that will be useful to the society. If he himself is not trained, is not well behaved, is not cultured, how can he produce a better, a good student? It's a problem that's getting general. It's our attitude to work, to friends, to the public is depreciating so fast. In fact, hospitals and schools, I cannot see the difference, and police station.
Okay. All right, let's quickly pay some bills, Elder. We're going to be back. Let's pay some bills, and we'll be right back on the conversation. Stay with us.
Excuse me, ma. This is your 100% income year.
Babes, are you sure you want to spend this much on hair? Didn't your landlord just increase rent? I saved for this one separately on money points.
Ma, you say you save on money points?
Yes.
This madam money points here, the array of your there is target savings money points I used to have it. The rest of this my sub is fees savings money points I used to do it. The salary of this my staff is save as you transact, son.
Jennifer, money point save as you transact. Money point fixed savings and money point target savings.
What's up? Why did I don't contribute to it? Why should I? Come on, oh, you go give your money to Hadaku to save. You see money point accounts there. You don't go open a savings account. Now Hadaku you shoot. I beg everybody inside this my saloon. Oh, yeah, bring out your phone and download the money points hack now. Even you. What are you waiting for? Download the money points hack now. Hadaku, wow, open money points account.
Money Point, made for your progress.
All right, welcome back. It's still AM120 on the Broadcasting Corporation of your state. And we're still having the studio with us, Elder Ademola Adegoke, who is a public affairs analyst. Thank you for Ademola. Thank you very much for, of course, still staying tuned with us. Let's quickly look at how can we improve our healthcare system and how should people behave in such an environment.
They have cadres of leadership. Director of Health Services, Hospital Management Board, the Commissioner, even the head of the hospital itself, the administrative head. It's not the system they inherited. They manufactured this system they are operating. A nonchalant attitude, lack of respect, indiscipline, misbehavior. These things are very grievous. And it is the employer that can determine how his work should be done. No public can effect any change. It's only government. And if you are trying not to offend anybody, we shall eventually offend ourselves. In a situation where a nursing mother or a pregnant woman is seen as coming for favor, is seen as a means of exploitation, it's not good enough. If you cannot trust a nurse, who else can you trust? So they are very important in the society, but they can't be isolated because this moral issue is a general thing. Everybody wants to show I have power, in fact, unlimited power. If I go wrong, I'm uncontrollable, and nothing. I'm above law. It's everywhere, even to an Okada man, even to a Maruba man. So everybody wants to flex muscle. They don't even know how to talk to make a reply. They don't know how to talk. If you say you are going to Boston, they say, "Don't you know where you are going?" Then what services are you rendering? It affects everywhere. But this issue of these nurses is because it's involved life and death. They should be told and they should be trained. I don't know the courses they run in the nurses schools. They should teach them human relation, human management. Is very, very important. A sick man is at the point of death and they can do anything because after all, it's like fighting a prisoner. It's already in jail. So what else can you do? If somebody is sick, they are way to caution, to appeal, to be very. The relationship should be very cordial before drug is even prescribed and applied. But aggressiveness and wickedness will never solve any problem. There are institutions where people run away because of time being wasted. Before you see a doctor, you have to waste 5 hours and we give you an appointment of another 3 months. How long does it take for death to kill a patient, a sick patient?
And that's why people go to the private hospital.
Yes, and they even go to government hospitals. They don't have to go through the rigors. If you go to private hospital, very good. Within 1 hour, you are treated. And you, even when you have the money, you pay for the services and they render it efficiently. You never see them insulting any patient. It's an aberration. You can never do it. If you do it, I'm sure within 24 hours, that worker is gone.
If not less.
So, but in our case, the process of issue query, the process of instituting investigation, the process of writing report, the process of passing the report, the process. So, before discipline comes, everything must have been watered down. We have to learn. We have to learn this. In the system which we operate, we do things the way we like, not the way that it should be done. Nursing, medical services is very, very important. It's, in fact, the most important. It's as important as security. If you are not well, can you go to work? If you are not well, can even the policeman do his work? So we need good health services. And if government can be benevolent enough to provide all these things, why are we not implementing it? If you see the duties of nurses in paper, you'll be surprised. You think they are an angel, which they are supposed to be. But are they doing the job as should be? The nurses, they used to be immaculate white, very attractive, black shiny shoes with white caps, decent. Even when you see them, you are half cured. Ramshackled or cared because there's no NEPA. Then you cannot press your uniform. It's no excuse. But who will make the correction? Because the senior officer make the correction. It's passing through the same system. We should make way of sustaining standard. Florence Nightingale came in here to come and help us. Can't we help ourselves? We are always expecting international aid to be able to behave. Nursing, government has to be very, very careful and the supervision should be improved. Those that are, even the school thing you mentioned, the LI is there to take care, to caution them. But eventually they will end up, when they know you are a journalist, if you are an ordinary Nigerian, they will say you go to hell because you cannot read and write. You don't even know your right. But when they see a journalist with camera, they are very cautious. So, and how many places can a journalist be? Cannot be everywhere. So, our rottenness should be controlled. And here we are now.
All right, on this note, we must say a big thank you to you, Elder Ademola Adegbola. Thank you very much for being our guest this morning. On behalf of our producers and crew member, we say a big thank you to you. You're retired but not tired, elder, but quite young and bouncing. Thank you very much, sir.
We thank God for his blessing.
Yes.
All right.
Yes. All right, on this note, we'll go on a break. And when we come back, our second guest is waiting. Stay with us. We'll be right back. All right, welcome back. We're still on the conversation. The large assaults on nurses, matters arising. That's what we're still looking at this morning. And we have the chairperson of NAM or UCH chapter, and in person of Comrade Olufumilola Faminu.
Exactly.
Thank you very much for joining us this morning.
Thank you.
It's good to have you. I'm glad to have a woman here. So let's do the conversation together. I'm doing genders, impartial. Yeah, partial. So I don't mind. But so long, of course, you have what it takes to have the to deal with the conversation. Let's look at nurses. What role do nurses play in any healthcare services?
Oh, thank you very much. Nurses are nurses are trained in the art and science of caring for patients and clients. They possess critical reasoning skills and emotional intelligence to make sound judgments when they come across their clients. Sound clinical judgments, I must say. And so there are ethics that guide the nursing profession that ensures that nurses treat all clients irrespective of their age, their religion, their sexual dispensation or disposition, as the case may be. And so nurses are versatile. They constitute the largest the largest number within the healthcare team, generally across board globally.
Okay, so let's look at it. You have told us who a nurse is and the role that a nurse plays within the healthcare system. Now let's look at it. It has become a usual trend that a nurse will be beaten up for whatever reasons. Yeah. What do you think is responsible for this?
Well, there are a lot of reasons that the offenders prefer. Grief is a very bad thing. And then when they are undergoing, a lot of the times, when they are undergoing the stages of grief, at the point where they are still in denial, they have not accepted it, and they are angry, they lash out in anger at the first person they come across. And nurses are always at the point of care. We care for patients that are sick. We give preventive health care, and we also treat convalescent patients too. So at that point, the relatives, the offenders, the first person they usually come across is the nurse. And so that is really why they are always at that point spot of call, that they are the ones that are the receiving end of this assault.
Okay, let's look at the case of Adeoyo Hospital.
Okay.
What really happened there? Let's look at it.
Oh, well, we were told that the relatives, they came to access care. When they got there, they didn't find every other member of the healthcare team, but they met the nurse. And the nurse was trying to assuage the situation, to plead with them, to let them know that they need to wait a while. And so that is another point. Waiting period, that waiting time is very critical, because clients feel that they are wasting their time. But there are other issues at stake. Now there is acute shortage now going on chronic of all forms of healthcare staff. And so at that point that they came, they were not attended to immediately, and so they got angry and the nurse was assaulted, and they were filming the entire process, infringing on the right of the nurse too.
Okay, so let's look at our part before we go to the violator.
Okay.
Where was the doctor?
Well, I can't hold brief for the doctor because it's not within my own jurisdiction. However, we should know that the nurse is always present by the bedside of the patient. We maintain a 24-hour presence by the patient. We are always there 24 hours at the point of care. And so I can't hold brief for the doctor that was meant to be on duty.
Yes, I'm not talking about brief because what is good for the goose is good for the gander. But the point I'm making is the nurse had performed her role.
Exactly.
The nurse can't work in isolation.
Oh, no.
She's going to work with the laboratory scientists.
Oh, yes.
She's going to work with the records.
Oh, yes.
She's going to work with the doctor.
Exactly.
And so at every point, if as a nurse, like I mentioned earlier, my mom is a nurse.
Oh.
And funny enough, I've been to the hospital with her. I see how it works.
Okay.
So my mom would not close if the next person who is to take over from her is not there.
Yeah.
It's so funny that for her to eat, or for nurses to eat, it's difficult because once there's still a patient to attend to, you want to do your job for those that are committed.
Yeah.
So for me, I think that it is a responsibility, the responsibility of a nurse, having met the patient, taken the vital signs, done every necessary thing, you transfer, you can't take any decision next. What you do next is move the patient to where the patient will see the doctor. Now, at the point these patients couldn't see the doctor, trust me, it means that there must have been a long queue.
Exactly.
It means that there were other patients waiting patiently to see the doctor.
Yes.
And the doctor was nowhere to be found. If the doctor was attending to some other patient, and this patient in question had a critical situation, nurses know how to go and see the doctor to say, look, we have a case that you need to attend to right now. And then they maneuver. But here, the doctor was not there. The nurse can say she would not hold brief for the doctor whom she's supposed to work with. It's a collaboration. It's a collaborative effort. It's not an effort of one person.
No.
So tell us what happened in between there.
Oh, well, the incident didn't happen in our own facility. So I really cannot say what exactly transpired at that moment. Yes, nurses are advocates of the patient, and we ensure that we carry out this duty diligently, because our first point of call is, this is the patient and what do we need to do to alleviate the suffering of this patient at the moment. And so we cannot stand in for any other healthcare professional that is supposed to be at their own point of call. However, we would advocate as the nurse, as a professional that we are. So I can't state categorically what happened at that point that the physician was not available to attend to the patient at that material time.
Okay, so if you have duly checked on this conversation, what was the ailment that was brought to the hospital that was to be attended to? What was the situation of the patient?
Oh, well, it is not right to disclose such on here because...
We're not talking about the name of the person. We're not talking about... What we're just saying is, what was the situation that brought... Because for a patient relative to start reacting, there's a possibility that the patient in question was near death. For you to have such a situation, the patient must have been in pains. And if you don't give us a picture, I mean, then we can't reason along why the patient's relative would have gone that far in the first instance.
Well, I agree with you. However, we will also need to maintain the sanctity of that patient and the confidentiality. Remember that it was a video and we could see every other person that was at that scene. And so it is not in the best interest to declare and say that, okay, this patient was in shock was in coma or this or that. No, it is not right to do that.
No, I like I said earlier, I would not exonerate the bad attitude or alleged attitude from the particular relative to the nurse. Trust me, this is not the first time we're seeing nurses being beaten,
I agree.
assaulted, maltreated, verbally assaulted, or verbally abused. We've seen all manner of abuse, violence against nurses before. And I want us to also touch on the one that happened in Lagos, even in UCH where you are. We've seen several ones. Let's talk about it. Because if we don't look at some of these issues, good enough, UCH is well segmented. And these cases, in most cases, happens at the outpatient department, OPD. In most cases. Where you see it in the word, patients who have patients in the families who have patients in the world are careful not to beat up a nurse. Because you know your patient is there being treated, your relative. But it happens mostly. So let's look at the UCH case.
Okay, well, it doesn't happen mostly at emergency at the entry point. It also occurs on the ward. Like I said, a lot of the times, the patient relatives, the caregivers, they go through a lot of emotions and they feel that they need to express such, albeit in a wrong manner by assaulting, either verbally or actually battering the healthcare professional at that point. And so for UCH, we have established protocols when such occurs that once it happens, there are ways and manners to go by at arresting the situation immediately that occurs. Usually at all of those entry points like the emergency that you mentioned, the outpatient departments, they are patients brought in at that time. You know, UCH is a referral center. It is a tertiary institution. And so when we see those clients, they are at very critical points that when the relatives come, when they are around, they expect that as soon as they bring the patient, as the healthcare providers, as the nurses see the patient, then the patient must be fine, the patient must be okay. Everything must be settled at once. And things don't happen that way. And so, at every point that they come and they're agitated, they want to get things done immediately, that is what triggers that anger at that moment. You know, I talked about the grieving process earlier. The patient, they are coming in with, they are ready, they know sometimes where they are coming from, they are giving them an idea of the prognosis, and so they are scared, they are afraid, they just want immediate cure at that moment, which in most cases is not possible. And so they vent their anger at the nurses at that point.
Okay, let's also look at it. Like we have said, it is uncalled for, it is barbaric, it is unacceptable to beat a professional on his or her duty post. And trust me, this does not only happen in hospitals. We also see parents whose children are beaten up who go to the school to fight the teacher. So it's becoming a trend. What do you think is responsible for this kind of trend in our society today?
I think that, you know, the economic situation, the things around us just trigger people, just make them unhappy, and they are always boiling, ready to unleash their anger. You see a taxi driver, you tell him, stop a taxi driver, and you ask simple questions. The way they react, the way they respond, a lot of the time people are just frustrated. They are very angry because maybe they've not been able to meet up with the situation at home and all of that. And so that is why you also see mental illness, a lot of people burdened because they have just been choked up with all of the things happening around them.
So you think
and
economical and psychological issues are responsible?
Exactly, and they can't cope. And so that aspect of emotional intelligence that is supposed to come into play at that time is absent. It's not there.
Now, so for a place like UC, just like you say, it's a referral center, more like it. How do you manage such a situation when it comes?
Okay, well, when we have such situations, a nurse being assaulted, any member of staff being assaulted, we have the chief security officer on ground with his team, the security staff. Such individual is arrested immediately and taken to the police station so that proper processes will be followed. The management has put in place protocols for treating cases of assault. And so once it occurs, you see the security officers are on ground to apprehend the individuals. They are taken to the police station immediately. And then it follows the process, and then we go to courts.
Now, the case of Adeoyo Hospital.
Okay.
Tell us, has the case been taken to the police station, let alone the court?
Unfortunately, no.
Why?
As at the time the incident occurred, there was no, I don't know their reporting system, because for us in New State, we have a clear reporting system on cases of assault. And so there was no reporting system that would enable the offender, the person, to be apprehended immediately. The Pa Adegbola that was here was talking about maintaining relationship with stakeholders in the community. And so for us in UCH, we have relationship with everybody within our own community such that such cases are treated immediately, and we try to prevent reoccurrence as much as possible and create awareness that our staff, they are not to be assaulted, they are not to be beaten, they are doing their job.
All right, having said that, so what kind of support is your chapter giving to Adeoyo to ensure that this matter is not just swept on the carpet, but the perpetrator is apprehended and brought to book?
Okay, thank you very much. Firstly, the nurse in question needs to be, is being supported emotionally and psychologically, because now her face is all over social media. She suffered emotional trauma at her duty post. And so she is being supported emotionally, cared for, such that she will not begin to have recurrent bouts of depression or anger at being assaulted while on duty. Then the video is circulating all over social media. And so for us as a union, we also hold our colleague the responsibility of working with law enforcement agents to fish out that offender so that it could be appropriately prosecuted, because it is not right. It's not right at all.
All right, so now you have said it's not right and steps need to be taken. Now, what's the collaboration between your chapter and other chapters in your state? Okay,
now, the National Association of Nigerian Nurses and Midwives is a professional association as well as a trade union. And so we have a national headquarters in Abuja, and the State Council now has all the hospitals, government hospitals in Oyo State, University College Hospital. We are working with the State Council. We are together. And so the State Council also takes responsibility over every unit within Oyo State. So we are working together.
Okay, so what are we now doing to prevent a future occurrence of this nature? Because now USH has a template that is working. When something happens, this is the direction it goes. Unfortunately, Adeoyo does not look like it has the same, because as we speak, the perpetrator has not been apprehended.
No.
So how can we protect one another? What kind of support? One would have expected that this template should have been taken by other chapters and we're able to work things out.
Well, every unit is working towards achieving that and getting a template on ground so that when cases of assault occur, there will be due process, standard operating procedures will be duly followed, and everyone, especially the offenders, will be prosecuted, and then we also prevent further occurrence. We create awareness. And so this is also why I'm sure that it's an opportunity also for me to also create awareness that every healthcare professional is important. Nurses maintain 24-hour presence. We are advocates of our patients, of our clients. And so we do not deserve to be treated wrongly, to be treated badly. And so violence against healthcare workers, violence against nurses is strongly condemned, and offenders will not go unpunished. And so we create awareness as much as possible. Like I said, we the usual practice should have been, as soon as that incident occurred, every nurse in Oyo State is supposed to down to. But we would also like to keep our patients in perspective. If we go, what happens to our patients? Only in extreme cases, when things like this happen and we need to make a strong statement, then we ask that every nurse should vacate the bedside and we go off and we protest. But we do not want to tamper with the peace of the state, with the peace, and then also we do not want to jeopardize the care of our clients or our patients in any way.
Okay, so what's the implication if you down tool? What's the implication?
Oh, it means that every patient that needs care at the hospitals, all the government hospitals in this state, will be left alone on the bed, nobody to care for them, nobody to take care of them when we leave the bedside.
Now you have said you're not looking at that as an option. So what is the alternative? What are you doing? What is your association at the state level doing to ensure that this issue is resolved completely?
Okay, the association had issued a statement. The secretary of the state union had issued a statement condemning the act, as well as mentioning the steps, proactive steps they will take in future to ensure that. One of the causes also is that we have very few nurses, very few people taking care of patients now. The normal contemporary ratio of nurses to patients should be one nurse to 2 in acute care settings, and then a nurse to 4 patients. And so the association had also made calls to the government to ensure that more nurses are employed to take care of our patients, and then to also put in measures, security measures, such that as soon as any other case like that occurs, security officers are on ground to apprehend individuals and then do what is right by them, charging them to court and ensuring that justice is served.
Staying on the issue of apprehension and taking them to court, the one that happened a few weeks ago, about a month ago in UCH, was the person arrested? Was the person charged to court?
Oh yes, but it's not right to be talking about a case that is still in court. However, at the point immediately the incident occurred, the person in question was arrested and taken to the police station, and the case is in court as we speak.
Okay, we just want to know if, just to serve as deterrent for people who are not patient enough, who want to violate other people's rights. That's the reason for that question. So we're not delving into what happened at certain time. Now, let's also look at it. If you want to look back and you want to count, like how many cases have been taken to court in your chapter so far?
We've had several. But this year, this is the only one taken to court so far. Last year, I don't think we had any that we had to go to court. But in the last 4 years, we've had 2 cases taken to court. Yes, 2 cases in the last 4 years.
And they're being prosecuted.
Oh, exactly. They were properly prosecuted.
Any judgment in the last few years?
Yes. Because we also live in a society where people will do really want to avoid the court process, and so they sought earnestly to pursue alternative dispute resolution approach. Yes. And so we charge to court, we get to court, and then we also look at that route, we go that route most of the time. But then the first thing is that they are apprehended, they are charged to court, and we appear in court. Later, we will now adopt the ADR
method.
Yeah.
Okay, so when this method are used to resolve these issues, don't you have you not looked at the fact that as much as you want to be humanly and you want to use other approach to resolve the issues, what about the damages on the nurse or the nurses? Are they being taken care of?
Oh, yes.
I mean, because ordinarily if you go to court, you're expected to file and, ask for damages to be paid. Do you also get the person, the violator, to pay damages?
Oh, yes. They do pay damages, and they also write letters of apology, which is also published in national dailies.
Ah.
Oh, yes. We
Wow.
also do that too.
Oh.
And so we have established protocol for treating cases of assault.
Why don't we have such standard, at other hospitals, especially government hospitals?
Well, the onus is on government hospitals to adopt this method so that we can curb this unhealthy trend.
So how do you manage, as a medical worker, how do you manage someone who's been violated, put on social media, the world has seen her being beaten, maybe her clothes turned, maybe, made to be naked in such a video? How do you manage such a person? Do you think she wants to go back to work? Do you think she wants to still do that same job and be seen every day, being stigmatized in our kind of society?
This is a very sensitive issue, and it is very important for clinical psychologists to see, to assess, provide emotional, psychological support, because really it is very traumatic. And we would also note that this person we are talking about is first a human being, is a lady, is a mother, is so many things to so many people. And so we are very careful about their emotional state, and we allow them some time off to rest, off work. Then they are treated holistically so that they do not continue to suffer PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder, because of those occurrences.
Okay, so let's look forward. Going forward, what do you think you would advise patients, people going to hospitals, to do? You're going to a government hospital. How should you prepare your mind on your way going? What do you do? What are your expectations? Maybe your expectations are too high. So I'm going to a government hospital now. What should I expect?
Okay, thank you very much. I'm going to a government hospital. First, I have to note that I'm not the only person that is going to be seen that day. And so I would note that, unfortunately now, due to the shortage and the jackpot syndrome, so many people have left. And so I have to bear in mind that I am not the only person that will be seen. First thing also is that I must present promptly at the hospital when I am not well, so that the illness will not have progressed to a stage where it becomes an emergency and I expect to be treated immediately. And so I'm coming to a government hospital, know that there are other patients that need to be seen. Wait patiently for your turn and comply with every procedure, every test, every investigation that you are expected to run, so that we make the appropriate diagnosis and proper treatment will follow.
All right, of course, as we wind down on the program, I want you to say a word to people who are fond of attacking, assaulting, violating the fundamental human right of others.
Okay, thank you very much. Please note that it is important that the other person know that it's also a person like you, has feelings, has emotions, and you are not just the only person. Yes, you might be angry, you might be sad, you want immediate treatment, you want prompt treatment, but then you need to go through all the normal processes and take your time. When a diagnosis is made, please go to the hospital. People tend to, they see, once they say, please go to UCH, they feel, the end has come. No, please, the end has not come. And every person in the healthcare team, we treat. God alone provides the cure. So we should bear that in mind, that yes, this treatment they are giving me is meant to give me a permanent cure. However, they don't owe that responsibility to cure me, but that what they prescribe, the treatments I'm supposed to undergo, will guide me, will help me towards complete recovery. And so we don't expect that they are magicians. No, they are not magicians. They are not. But they have been trained also to identify that, to treat the illnesses and procure solutions that you must also comply with anyway.
Finally, your advice to nurses who also violate people's right, verbal abuse. Sometimes when some nurses talk, you commit suicide. Trust me. Sometimes when some speak, they speak fire. What advice do you have for them?
My dear colleagues, we know that you must uphold the ethics of the profession. A nurse is expected to provide comfort, to provide care to patients, to our teeming clients. And so we owe that client the responsibility to help them maintain good health. And so I want to appeal. Usually it is the personality of a person that comes into play. But when you are coming to work, remember that at that moment you are a nurse and your professionalism must come to bear in caring for those patients. And so please maintain the ethics of the profession every time.
All right, on this note, we want to say a big thank you to you, Comrade Olufumilola Faminu,
Exactly.
for being our guest on the program. On behalf of our producers and crew members, we're saying a big thank you to you for coming.